Hey YouTube, it's Annabelle. So welcome to my VEDA. Today is VEDA day number 19 and I have another update for you guys today. Today I'm going to be doing my daughter's 2.5-year update. Now she was 2.5 last month at this time, but I wanted to save this video for VEDA since I'm going to be doing some updates here for you guys yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So my daughter is 2.5 years old. She is 37 inches tall. She weighs 30 pounds and she is just growing like crazy. She just grew another inch just in the last month, and we've gotten all of her clothes out for the end of summer and fall and winter, and she is in size 3T pants. Her 3T pants fit her perfectly. Some of the 3T pants are a little bit short, but the 4T pants are still too long by at least a half an inch, and some are a whole inch too long for her. But she is in the like bigger stuff of her 3T shirts, which she only has about 6 shirts that actually like fit her in 3T, but otherwise she's in 4T shirts and she's just getting so big. She is now in size 8 shoes. At the beginning of the summer, she was in size 7. So just here in the last couple months, her foot has gone up a whole size. She put on her shoes one day and she's like, "Mommy, these are too tight." And so we had to go get her size 8 shoes, and she's so like happy like that she got brand new shoes and everything. But anyway, so that's just kind of like what she's in and how tall she is and how much she weighs. So now getting into kind of the things that she is doing and what she knows. Now, my daughter is not perfect, but I just wanted to tell you guys like what she is doing right now. I do have a couple videos that you can look back on, so this video isn't like extremely long. I did a video on like my potty training tips and also on my tantrum tips. So if you want to see those videos, you can look back at those. But this is kind of what we are doing. Now, my daughter gets bored with things very easily. Once she knows something, she wants to find out more stuff. She doesn't like going over the same things like over and over and over again. So we still are working on like shapes and animals and body parts and colors and letters and numbers and opposites and what goes together and daily tasks and things like that. But what I found with my daughter, for her not to get bored, is that I constantly have to be changing stuff around, thinking of new ways to present information to her, and adding on new things. So just in the last like 6 months, from the time that she was 2, and I did a 2-year-old update on her, and it was right at the end of my pregnancy, so the video is kind of sad, but if you want to know where she was at age 2, you can go back and look at that video. But this is how she's doing now. So with shapes, we are still going over shapes. She knows all of her shapes, and now we are like working with some of the harder shapes. She does know pentagon, heptagon, and octagon, or hexagon, sorry. Pentagon, hexagon, and octagon, because they look like pretty much the same. She does have trouble with heptagon, which is 7 sides, because those shapes tend to look a little bit different since it has like the odd like number. She does fine with pentagon because pentagons pretty much look like a house with the 5 sides. But so she knows her pentagon, her hexagons, and her octagons. Again, we're just working with heptagon, so she remembers to count all the sides, and if there's 7, then it's heptagon. So she knows all of her like agons. Again, we're working on like nonagon and decagon and things like that also. But again, we're just working with her. We're adding new stuff to it. So she knows what a diamond is, but now we've introduced that it is also called a rhombus, and we're working on like trapezoid and parallelogram, and just we're adding new stuff so she doesn't get bored. If we were continuously doing like circle, square, and triangle, she doesn't want to hear that stuff like over and over again. She likes new things. So if we add parallelogram into the mix, then she gets excited about circles and triangles and squares and rectangles and stars and hearts and all of that stuff still. Same thing with animals. She knows like all of like the basic like 20 animals, but we are adding in things that are not as common, like beavers and badgers and squirrels and hamsters and guinea pigs, and what type of fish, like betta fish, clownfish, like all of that kind of stuff. We're adding on like new stuff, because if we were constantly going over like cows say moo, horses say neigh, pigs say oink oink, she gets bored with that stuff. So we're adding new stuff to it to make it exciting and interesting for her. Same thing with body parts. She knows all of her general body parts. Now we are doing like specific things with body parts. So we're talking about stuff that's on the inside. And just an example of how we talk about stuff that's on the inside is we talk about like that we have bones, and that if we didn't have bones holding us up, that we'd be a pile of mush on the ground, and how bones help us walk. And like we do like specific things, like we like get her running and everything so her heart is pounding, and then we have her feel her chest and feel that boom 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 boom, so she can feel her heart pounding. And we talk about what her heart does. And I actually have a book that is actually for like anatomy kind of stuff. And she likes looking at it to see what stuff looks like on the inside. And so we're talking about that, and we're like doing more specific stuff like on her foot. She already knows where her foot is and her toe is, but we're starting to talk about like where her arch is, where her heel is, and where the ball of her foot is. And when we go over body parts, we're doing things that are like harder. So we're like, where's your collarbone at? So she has to point where her collarbone is. And she knows where her ear is, but where are your ear lobes? And where's your nose? Where are your nostrils? And just different things like that. We're trying to make it difficult for her, again, to make it more interesting. Colors, she can now say if a color is light or dark. She can say more like specific colors like tan, maroon, turquoise, just different things like that. She can name all of the colors of something. She was just saying like the dominant color, like if we had a picture of a frog, and she would just say the frog is green. Now when she looks at that frog, she says that the frog is light green right here, dark green bumps, the tongue is red, the eyes are white, and she can say all of the colors that are on something, which is like awesome to see. Because if you ask her what color like a barn is, she'll say red and white and black, like with all the colors that are on the picture. So it's awesome. We are doing a lot with coloring and drawing. We are working on like lines, so she can make a straight line or a curvy line, and also like starting so she can make a circle, and just starting to take direction to make a triangle, make a circle, and things like that, because we are going to start like having her try to like write letters and things, and work on like writing and like tracing and things like that next year. So where she is at with letters, she knows all of her capitals and her lowercase letters, and she can say all of the letter sounds. And what we're doing right now is we are pairing the sound with the letter. So if I say, what sound does B make, she can say B, or what sound does G make, and she can say G. And so we're pairing those together. She doesn't know all of them, but again, we are working on pairing the letter sound with the letter, so that will make sounding out words a lot easier for her later. Again, we're going to start with sight words here at the end of this year, beginning of next year when she's 3, because they do teach sight words in preschool. She knows her ABC song, and she does awesome with it, and she does awesome with all sorts of like songs, and her memory is getting so good with all of the songs. She knows like tons of songs now. She can start the song. If I leave out a word, she can tell me what that word is, and that's just kind of some of the games that we do with songs. Numbers, we are working on numbers 0 through 20. We were just working on 1 through 10, and just going up to like 12 when we talked about like clocks and things, but now we talk about 0 is none, and we count all the way up to 20. The only number that she has trouble with is the number 13, and she can't say the part, so she says 13. So it sounds like she's saying 14 twice, like when she counts, like she always has to like show off, and like she counts for people, and it sounds to like two other people that she says 14 twice, but she says 13, 14, so it kind of sounds similar. So we're just working on that sound with her so she can say 13. We are matching, or we're working on matching the word to the visual number. So if I say 11, she can point and tell me which number is 11, and then so forth all the way up to 20. We are still working on counting objects, and we are counting objects all the way up to 20. We started off with just to 5, and then added it to 10, then added it to 15, and now we're doing it all the way up to 20, so she can tell me how many things are there. We are doing more or less, and working on, like, I'll put 3 items on the table, or 5 items on the table, and I ask her which pile has more and which pile has less. And because we are going to start doing like simple math here, we're just touching on it right now, because if I add objects to it, I'm like, oh, if I add this many, how many do I have? And then she counts them again and tells me how many I have. But we're going to be working on simple math, like addition and subtraction, again, like at the beginning of this next year. She uses full sentences. We're working on her speaking clearly all the time. Myself, my friends, and our family can understand what she's saying, but if it's just a stranger on the street, she usually has to repeat herself so they understand what she is saying, and that's just something that we have to work on. She can now recall events. She does get a little mixed up on her time. Like, she'll say, well, last week for like yesterday, or she'll say tomorrow for today. And so we're working on getting her time right, like when she's speaking about something and she can tell a story and what happened. So now if me and my husband ask her what happened today, if my husband comes home and asks her like what we did on a play date, she's able to recall that event and like tell the story of what happened. She has a great memory. Again, we're doing lots of like songs and dance, and I leave stuff out. I have her finish my sentences for me to help her work on memory, and just things that I say quite often. She knows how the sentence ends. She is in a big cup now, or not in a big cup, she's drinking from a big cup now. We were doing like a spout cup, just because she was still like knocking it over and stuff like that. But at the beginning of this spring, she started a big cup, and all we did to get her to where she is now is we started off with just a little bit in the cup, and then we slowly increased the amount that we put in the cup, and now she can have a full 8-ounce cup and not spill. We still do have a, like, but it's an adult cup. It's like an adult like straw cup that you have like for the car. It's a little thermal one. She does drink out of that in the car, and that's just for if we're turning the corner or if we're doing something when we don't want like the drink spilling on her in the car or in the car. So she does have like a straw cup kind of thing for in the car. She does not use a bib anymore, which is awesome. She has learned how to eat for the most part. If there's something that's really drippy or things like that, she still does have like some spills, but otherwise we're not doing a bib anymore. She's a huge kitchen helper. She will put dishes away. She knows where the trash goes, where recycling goes, where the compost goes. And so it's just awesome that she helps out. We are working on food groups with her, like which foods are fruit, which foods are vegetables, which foods are grains, which foods are dairy, which foods are meat. And so what we'll do when we're getting her supper ready is we'll ask her which food group is she missing. And so if I didn't put any carrots on her plate or whatever, I want her to say that she is missing her vegetables and things like that. So that's some of the kind of game stuff that we play with that. She can do all of her bathroom tasks all by herself. She doesn't need a potty seat anymore to go on the toilet. She can balance herself on the toilet all by herself. She can go to the bathroom independently, wash her hands independently, and she does personal care tasks by herself, such as brushing her hair, brushing her teeth, washing her face. She can get dressed and undressed all by herself now. She doesn't get her shoes mixed up. We did a lot of working on which is your left hand, which is your right hand, which is your left foot, which is your right foot, and just did kind of direction kind of things with that. And so she can now put her shoes on the right feet, put her socks on, not upside down where the heel part goes at the heel, and her pants are on with a tag in the back, and her shirts are on correctly. So that is awesome that she can do that by herself. She has her routines down. What she does in the morning, like her mealtime stuff, she goes to the cabinet, she gets out her plate, her silverware, her cup. She can set her place at the table. She can set our places at the table. We don't let her carry like our heavy glass cups, just because they are heavy, and if like one of us is like not looking where we're going. Like we don't want any like broken glass or anything like that. So the heavy cups we don't let her carry yet, or if it's in like, if it's heavy, too heavy for her to carry, she doesn't carry it. But she knows, like, when it's bedtime, what all happens with that. She loves stories and reading books and everything like that. She's really into princesses now. She loves Beauty and the Beast, and, like, that is her favorite princess right now. But she loves the princess movies, and she says that she's a princess, and, like, it's just so cute. We have been talking a lot about God lately. That has been a huge topic in our house for the last few months, and so we're slowly starting to talk to her about that. I've done a couple of videos on introducing our toddler to God. I do have a couple more videos for you guys on the DVDs and the Bibles that I found and we love. So I will get those up for you sometime soon. And my daughter also, we've been working with her on saying, like, if somebody asks her how old she is, she can tell them how old is she going to be next year, and her first, middle, and last name, and also her city, state, country, and president. One day, President Obama was on TV, and she's like, who is that? And I was like, that's the president. And she was like, the president? I'm like, yes, the president of the United States of America. I was like, that is Barack Obama. And she's like, Barack Obama. And so now she knows who the president is. So I've thrown that in. Again, we're constantly adding stuff in to, like, ask her about, so she doesn't get bored. So she knows what city we live in. She knows what state we live in. She knows what country we live in. She knows what state, like, if our family and friends live out of state, she knows where they live. And she can point to where we live on a map of the United States, which is awesome. Again, I just have, like, I'm seriously just, like, throw new information out at her, and she, like, picks up on it and loves it. We are working on yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and also, like, what day it is, the days of the week, the months of the year, upcoming events and holidays, and what the weather is like. But this summer we have been out and about, and we've just been doing play dates and mommy and me classes, and we've been so busy. And everyone's like, oh, like, take this time because, like, you're not busy until your kids grow up and start activities. Well, I've basically kind of, like, put activities out there for my daughter, like with, like, play dates and mommy and me classes, and, like, just getting ready for preschool and everything. She has had some, like, sleep arrangement changes because my son is now sleeping in her room with her. So she did have a couple of nights when he first was transitioning in there that she wasn't sleeping or going to sleep very well because she wanted to play, because now she had her brother in there that she could go to his crib and talk to him and keep him up and everything. So that was a little bit difficult, but again, like, a couple days and she is good with that now. She is such a great big sister. I was kind of concerned and not concerned all at the same time about her being a big sister. She is awesome. She has taught my son so many things, and she, like, teaches him stuff like I teach her. And when we do our learning time, I'll sit on the floor and she'll sit on my lap and we go over stuff. Well, she's started doing that with my son, and it is just awesome. Like, she just sits him in front of her and, like, points to different stuff, tells him all about it. My son just lights up. All she has to do is walk past him and he's like, and just will laugh at everything that she does. And she, like, puts on shows for him and tells him what things are. And she does stuff for me, like, for him. She'll get him, like, different things. So we'll go get him a toy, get him a diaper. Like, it's just, she wants to help out so much. And it's been an awesome experience. But if anybody wants to hear more on that, I can do a big sister update as well. But anyways, this next year, my daughter cannot go to preschool until next fall. So we have a whole year left before she can go to preschool. I'm not sure if I'm going to put her in preschool. I've talked to a couple people, and if all they're going to teach her is, like, the ABC song and letters and counting to 10, she already knows that. So I don't know if I'm going to send her. If I do send her to 3-year-old preschool, it's going to be because of, like, the social aspect and stuff. But as long as our play dates and mommy and me, like, groups and classes and stuff keep going, she's getting that socialness, so I am not sure about preschool. But if anybody wants me to do like videos on preschool, just leave a comment below. But otherwise, if I forgot anything, I will leave it below. Again, I will do more like videos on what we are like teaching and like how we do things. If you have any questions on anything that I've talked about in this video, want to see her do any of it, or want to see like a sample like teaching session that we like do, again, I try to keep things like 5 minutes, otherwise she gets bored with it and like loses interest. So just 5 minutes like a day, and like we discuss everything, and she learns so much from it. But anyways, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you have anything you want to see specific, just leave it below, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow for another update. Bye guys.